see, who is next? Christy. Christy and I also have a little different connection. I was the younger kid in the youth group at church when you were the upper class. It's nice at the beginning here when I'm younger than the Hall of Famers. That Christy Cassell also has another piece that some of you all know, some of you distance girls. She's the mom to one of the West Potomac athletes. So she gets to come back to these meets and have her child running in a meet. That's pretty cool. All right, let me read this plaque to you. From the time she arrived at Lake Braddock as a freshman, Christy proved herself to be a fierce competitor. Christy was a perennial all-state performer in cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track, earning the accolade in every one of her 12 seasons at Lake Braddock. Christy capped a tremendous cross-country career with an 11th place All-American finish at the then Kinney National Cross Country Finals. Her time on the historic Burke Lake course still stands as one of the top 25 times ever, earning her designation as Legend of the Lake. As a senior, Christy capped a tremendous indoor career with a second place finish in the 1600 at the state meet and a state championship in the 3200 later that day. She remains ranked in the top 10 at Lake Braddock in the 1000, the 1600, and the 3200 meters. And she was a key member of the awesome Bruin girls teams of the mid to late 80s.
That I remember when Chris McDonald was just here a little bit ago was my coach. Somehow when he had that athlete-coach relationship, he had the ability on a day like today to convince me that it was the most ideal running conditions ever. And I go, really? I'm like, okay. And I would go out and run really good fast times, but to have that kind of relationship with a coach is hard to come by, and I got really lucky.
Mr. Anthony, come on up. All right, he's lucky to be getting this plaque because we graduated the same year from high school, and I have two quick stories on that. Number one, my team was on the receiving end of the beatings that his team delivered on many, many, many occasions. So we won't say you're our favorite guy at Woodson. Will not be in the Woodson Hall of Fame for those things. Throughout the years, it was really neat to go to meets, and as he's coaching at another school, he'd always ask how the Bruins were. And it's really neat to have that connection that somebody had such a good time here that no matter where they were when they saw the Bruin coaching staff, they wanted to know how the actives went. And then one that you probably don't know, we also went to George Mason University. When I got there, I wanted to walk on to the track team. If you saw the 800 or the mile today, you saw a young man whose dad was the star of the George Mason team. Ahmed Bilay's dad Abdi was a world champion. So when I went to John Cook and asked him if I could walk onto the team, he said, I've already got a guy from Northern Virginia, and I have the world champion in the event you'd like to run. So, so in a way, you ended my running career. At least I found another thing to do. So, he started my coaching career earlier. But let me tell you a little bit about this guy. Number one thing is on that board, he's the number one time. For me, that's a huge thing. If you're all these years at Lake Braddock and all the success Lake Braddock has had in cross country and track, to be still the existing course record holder at Burke Lake for us is unbelievable. There's been a lot of people that have come close, a lot of people that thought they could get there, and that time, stands because of how difficult it truly is to be ready on the day, no matter what the conditions are, no matter what the race is. To run a time like that's pretty incredible. To that, that alone, to me, would make you a Hall of Famer. But Mike did a lot of other things. Mike was the premier distance runner in Northern Virginia in '85 and '86, and the leader of the dominant Lake Braddock teams of the mid-'80s. He had tremendous range from 800 meters to cross country. He is the school record holder in cross country, and in 1986, Mike anchored the distance medley at the Dogwood Invitational with teammates Tim Kaine, Dion Watford, and Scott Muscarella, who wanted to come here and give you your plaque, but he unfortunately had to attend the Flyers playoff game today. He said it really was work related. I'll see if we believe that later. Setting a record that is still one of the fastest times ever run by a Virginia high school. After high school, Mike competed for George Mason University. He continued his success as a coach at EC Glass High School in Lynchburg. This guy, when I was in high school, was the most feared runner for the other teams in Northern Virginia. I mean, I was on the other side of that, and he may not have known it because he is such a nice guy, and I've gotten to know that later on. But in high school, we were all terrified if he was in the race because we knew it'd be almost impossible to win. And for that, and for all the times and all the effort he put into this program, we are really proud to welcome him to our Hall of Fame. It's going to be a paparazzi next time. Yeah, he's good.
Thank you very much.
You guys, make sure you talk to him before he leaves. All right.
We're planning on
We
it.
need
Don't
Brad
worry.
Baker. Come on up.
We're close.
All right. Mike graduates, and so unfairly to the rest of the region, this guy assumes the role of pretty much the best runner in Northern Virginia. The Bruin teams were really blessed in the mid-'80s with a stack of elite boy miler runners that all had great range, and Brad Baker is no different. He was a key part in the rise of this Bruin program. He led a group of talented runners that consistently produced top results at district, region, and state levels. He's the school record holder at 1,600 meters and was state champion outdoors in '88. He's ranked number 3 all time in the 1,000 and in cross country. Not to be forgotten, though, and I think this might be the neatest part of all, he was the leader of the historic team in 1987 that won district, regional, and a state championship. We'd like to welcome to the Hall of Fame, Brad Baker. I was too busy getting kicked off the college. If we could get all the Hall of Famers come up, we'd like to get a picture with all of you guys together.